Now, the next thing is we need to set up our environment for setting up our very first app. So my very first build is going to be an app that we're going to use an AI in building the app. Since you've already set up your VS Code environment, if you don't have a VS Code environment, you can refer to my previous video around that. Now, let's set up our first environment, our first build. In this case, we're going to call build app. So our very first build, our very first app. I'll be using those terminologies interchangeably. Now, the first thing you need to understand is you need to understand the hierarchy, or let me just say the structure of how AI agent is going to be interacting with your application. Now, if you're wondering, AI agents, where does AI agent comes in? Now, your VS Code comes with predefined agent, which is usually terms agent. You see, build with agent. AI responses may be inaccurate. Generate AI general agent instruction to onboard AI into your code base. If you click on this, it takes you to a page. Now, before it takes you to the page, guess what? You need to sync your VS Code directly into your GitHub so that you can get the benefit of that. Now, to do that, if you click on, you see, you need to set up your GitHub Copilot and be signed in to use the chat. Let's click on sign in. In this case, I will select continue with GitHub. If I select continue with GitHub, it's going to ask for authorization for the VS Code to interact with your VS Code, with your GitHub. From the options below, you have to choose which account you'd like to authorize the app. If you have multiple accounts, you see the other options here. But in this case, I am DevCore HQ. Now here you get to authorize VS Code to access your GitHub. Now once you're done, you click on allow. Since this is going to require you to use it on VS Code, you click on open VS Code. Now you see the sign in button is gone. You have successfully sync your VS Code with your GitHub, and then you can start using the AI agent. Now, whatever you type in here, it's going to be you interacting with the agent. If you click on auto here, these are the different models that you can use. You can use Claude Haiku 4.5, you can use Claude Sonnet, you can use GPT 5.5, you can also use a Raptor Mini or GPT-5 Mini, depending on your use case. You could also configure different models of your choice. Now, what one really interesting thing about VS Code is you can specify a particular action you would like to use if you want an agent to interact with your ask, or you just want to ask a question, or you like to plan it out before you start building your app. The VS Code also has a plan section for that. Also, you could also adjust your configuration tool. You could just add the agent, the browser, the edit, the execute. Basically, these are the things that you can also set in your VS Code. You could also run a sub agent for some certain task. Now, let's go ahead. Now, set up your repository to interact for your agent to interact with your repository is very essential for you to understand what you're trying to do and also understand how you can set up your environment properly. Now, at the top here, you can create a new session. You can create every new chat is a new session that has been created. You could also configure your agent. You can also configure the skills that you would like your agent to have. You can also pass some instructions, some prompts, some hooks, some MCP server, which we'll be talking about down the line. Also some interesting plugins as well. Also, you could also expand or minimize it. You could also close it. Now let's structure our repository. This is the repository we're using, which is my first build. If you click on it, you create a subfolder. You can call it GitHub. Then you create another subfolder. Inside of it, it's called agent. This is where the agent instruction resides. But in this case, we're going to create different files. Here is going to be agent.json. We're going to create another agent file called coordinator.agent.md. So this is going to be the lead orchestrator agent rules that you're going to be specifying. The next one, you can also specify coder.agent.md. This coder.agent.md is going to be the one responsible for coding. This is going to be more like your lead orchestrator that's going to be coordinating among different agents. Then once you have done building your app, you need someone to test it. You could also specify tester.agent.md. Now this is going to be a dedicated QA and where you specify the parameters that you need. Now when you're defining your agents are usually defined in Markdown, which is MD. Each individual agent profile, they basically utilize a front matter metadata and to declare their role. The system permission, the routing instruction, and other interesting instruction you might like to pass. Now in this case here, instead of coordinator, for the coordinator bit, we're going to give it a certain set of instruction, and the instruction we're going to be giving it is going to be this. We give it a name is coordinator, main workflow manager that routes and parallelize coding tasks. Tools is the terminal, which is this section here. You can use the terminal, it can write hypwd, and then the file system. And then handoff, it basically means when you're done, you can hand off the task to an agent called coder, when writing implementing code, which means that when this coordinator is trying to delegate the task, you can delegate the task to the coder, and then when it's trying to validate what the coder has done, it's going to use an agent called tester to do it. Now, this is the instruction. You are the centralized lead agent for this repository. Ensure all generated code adheres to our struct TypeScript style. Automatically hand off task to specialized sub-agents when required. Now, this is very essential for you to pass to your lead coordinator so that he knows and is aware of what needs to be done. Now, this is a sample of how to create an agent, and let's proceed to the next task.